Moving on to the second half of this segment, which is Tokyo Shock, or Media Blaster's Asian theme label. I'm going to start off with the Zerum series, which I don't know which came first. They have an anime series called Iria, which Iria is the hunter in the Zerum series who's going around hunting the Zerum monster. Which Zerum's kind of like he's kind of like an android, but he's an android in the sense that he would be like the Predator if he was an android. Very, very neat concept, very cool character. It's kind of a symbiotic robot kind of thing. Very cool. The anime series is actually pretty entertaining for being an anime series about that. I wish they would have had a little more. I mean, there's a lot of development of the character of Iria. I wish they would have had a little more development on the character of Zerum. He's in here, but it's really not focused on him. They just kind of are trying to fight him and track him, which is what they do. The first Zerum movie, of course, sets up the premise of this is Iria, this is Zerum. They're enemies. They're fighting each other. Iria's a bounty hunter. She's trying to track down Zerum and bring him for the bounty. Zerum 2 is a little more off the wall. Not that the first one isn't off the wall, but this is a little more crazy. Zerum's costume changes. He's looks a lot more lethal in this film, a lot more streamlined. He loses that big bulky top of his head that looks like a mushroom, and he really proves to be a killing machine in this movie. This one's probably my favorite out of the anime series and the two films. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a huge Devilman fan. Also, to note in the music industry, I'm kind of trying to tie music throughout this entire segment. Noted people that are also Devilman fanatics, Rob Zombie and Glenn Danzig, which Glenn Danzig has a comic label, which is Verotic, and they've done some Devilman comics and releases of Devilman comics, as well as other crazy Japanese and Devilman inspired comics, as like Satanica, as well as just crazy Conan Death Dealers type stuff. They do some of the Death Dealer comics and like Jaguar God and stuff like that. Tokyo Shock has released a live-action version of the Devilman movie, which came out probably a couple of years ago, and it basically takes the entire cartoon series and the comic book series. It changes a couple of pieces here and there, but it's pretty much like watching the anime film, especially the second one. The second one more than the first one, but it's like watching the Demon Bird version of the anime, and with some extra added stuff and a battle against Satan at the end, which I'm not going to completely spoil it, but the CG effects in this are top notch, very cool. It really made the film. I enjoyed it. A lot of people, like a lot of anime magazines, said they didn't like the film. I loved it. It's not a replacement for the anime series ever. It was obviously started off as a comic and then evolved into the anime. I'm a huge fan of the anime, always will be, but I really enjoyed this film as well. And also from Tokyo Shock, they've started releasing some of their own original films, which these are also a refreshing change to a lot of the standard things that have been coming out. And they started releasing some of their original films, and one of their first ones was Machine Girl. Very cool movie, very cool concept, lots of cool gadget weapons, and just the brutality level and the squirting, gushing, severed stumps and blood everywhere, just oozing with blood, inventive gore that like people's faces flying apart after being cut by several ninja stars and stuff like that, or just like a face just spraying blood. Very awesome. The girl with the machine gun on her arm, obviously she's an amputee. She had her arm amputated by a gang of thugs so she wears the machine gun as kind of a replacement over her stump and blows people away with it. It's very cool. Love the idea, and you can kind of see a lot of winks and nudges to other genre favorite films like Hellraiser, and stuff like that. In the same kind of vein, and a lot of the same people are involved in this, they've also released Tokyo Gore Police. This just came out a couple weeks ago on DVD. Same kind of blood everywhere, just blood spurting from limbs and whatnot. Gore fest, and just absolutely insane and hilarious. These films aren't trying to take themselves seriously at all, and that's what makes them great. Um, the effects and costume in this are great. Just basically these biomechanical and bio freaks just running around and causing havoc, and samurai cyborg cops that kind of look like Nazgul as well from Lord of the Rings, running around stabbing people with their katanas and shooting people and hunting these engineers or these bio freaks, and blood everywhere. Just a hilariously good time. Worth checking it out if you're a huge fan of just tons and tons of gore. Which actually, Tokyo Gore Police is somewhat of a loose sequel to Meatball Machine, which Tokyo Shock did not actually release Meatball Machine. After Dark Films did. Why I say it's a loose sequel is there's two characters in both movies. One's a girl, one's a guy, and they kind of play a father-daughter relationship. Same characters, the same two characters are in Tokyo Gore Police. They don't really say, tie them together that way in Tokyo Gore Police, but it's the same two actors, same two kind of characters. The father character kind of changes a bit in Tokyo Gore Police. But it looks like they're going to head for a sequel, which I hope they do because that would be cool. Another thing to note about, and that kind of ties these two things together, is one of the bonus features on Meatball Machine is a music video called Reject of Death. And in that movie, a lot of the actors that are in Tokyo Gore Police are in this music video. And there's even a couple of other characters, one of them being the girl that I mentioned. And there's a couple of characters. One's a Chinese guy, and one person kind of looks like an Aboriginal, or kind of like a blonde gnome, or like he looks kind of like a pinhead character, and his skin's kind of darker. And it's really hilarious. The calamity that these two characters get into, and the music video is one of my favorite features on the Meatball Machine DVD. But I definitely recommend checking out all three films out if you're a fan of just weird, hilarious gore films and Asian films in general, which a lot of this stuff is covered in this back issue of Morgue from the summertime of 2008. And as you can see, they've got Machine Girl on the cover. Great movies. Another very cool thing to note about both Tokyo Gore Police and Machine Girl are the use of chainsaws. I haven't seen such inventive uses of chainsaws since the Evil Dead films. It makes the use of the lawnmower look like a spinning teacup right at Disney World from Dead Alive, because Dead Alive, there's the famous lawnmower scene, which is still one of my fabled favorites. Both chainsaw scenes from Machine Girl and Tokyo Gore Police together, almost, they're even with me. The lawnmower scene from Dead Alive, and just great use of chainsaws. Again, crazy flying chainsaws and blood spurting everywhere. And it's this use of chainsaws that makes Tokyo Shock a great and exciting new label that I'm going to keep watching for a while. And I'm going to keep my eyes open for more original features from them, because it looks like they will be making a sequel to Tokyo Gore Police, and probably other crazy original films as the years go by. That wraps it up for this segment of Uberdemon's Movie Morgue. I hope you enjoyed watching again, and I'll see you next time.